Yes, you weren't here that day.
I did.
I know, you weren't here the day I passed it back. Alright, I can use congruence postulates to prove triangle congruence. That's what these are. And we are going to learn how to prove triangles are congruent to each other tomorrow. But today, we're just going to talk about the shortcut. I will not love you tomorrow, even though it's only a day away. Now just sit down. Yes. Right there. Thank God. Alright, so the first one was side, side, side. That means that three sides have to be congruent. So it says, if three sides of one triangle are congruent to three sides of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Doesn't it? And we know that AB is congruent to what segment? DE. And AC is congruent to? And BC is congruent to? EF. So, if your segments are congruent, that means your triangles are congruent by? Side, side, side. Alright, are we ready for the next one, or do we need a mo? Okay. Someone's outside the door. I don't know who it is or what they're doing, but they haven't knocked, so they're not coming in.
They're like,
Sign them up for treason and
they are? Where is it?
obsession with them.
Wherever come in. Hi. She said hello.
Alright, now let's do side, angle, side.
You heard that?
So, alright, so y'all over there are about to just have to go sit in the hallway, and then you're going to have to watch the videos later and make up the lesson. Do you understand? You are disrupting the entire class. Stop. Side, angle, side means that you have to have an angle in between two sides. It says if two sides and the included angle, that means that the angle is in between the sides. It's in between the sides of one triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. So do we have a side? AB is congruent to what? And angle A is congruent to?
D.
And AC is congruent to?
DE.
So then you have side, side. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DFE by side, angle, side. That's it. That's all you have to do. Isn't it crazy? Nikia, are you paying attention or are you leaning over going to sleep?
Keep going. Oh.
Can you open up the right flappy and sit up for me? Thank you, Pumpkin. Alright, the last one that we learned on Thursday was angle, side, angle. That means we need how many angles? And we need how many sides? Fantastic. So it says, if two angles in the included side, that means the side has to be in between the angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles in the included side, then the triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. Do we have an angle? Do we have a side? Do we have an angle? Over here, do we have an angle? Do we have a side? Do we have an angle? It's angle, side, angle. That's it. That's all you do. Okay, baby.
Chill out.
Are you ready for angle, angle, side? Yes. So we're going to learn the right side, and then we're going to glue something to the back of our paper, and then we're going to do a table. Oh, are you sure? Alright, right, angle, angle, side. So that means we need how many angles? And how many sides?
Wait, what? One.
Ms. Asbury, may I please borrow your pen off of your desk? That is your property, not mine. So then, no, you can't borrow it. All right, so this says, if two angles and the non-included side, so that means that the side is not between the two angles. It's beside it. Not in between, beside it. So if two angles and the non-included side of one triangle are congruent to two angles, and the corresponding, what does corresponding mean? Because we same what? Same place. Good. Take a point. Then the triangles are congruent. It's in the third drawer.
I spell angle.
Okay. No one is worried about that. Now, angle A is congruent to what angle? Angle D. And angle B is congruent to what angle? Angle F. And AC is congruent to? So you have an angle, and a side. You have an angle, and a side. So are these congruent?
Yes.
So let's say triangle ACB is congruent to what triangle?
To DEF.
DEF. Good. Take a point. It is very important the way you name it.
Do you always have to write that little triangle?
Yes, because that means it's a triangle. Otherwise, it could be an angle or an octopus. And we're not doing that. We're doing triangles.
I have one question.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you do like if it's an angle side? Why wouldn't you do like A, B, C?
You can do it that way.
Okay, so
I just chose to write it differently to make sure that y'all can still remember to match up the correct angles.
okay.
All right, the last one is hypotenuse leg. Who knows what a hypotenuse is?
Hypotenuse is, oh my gosh, you said it before. Ain't that when it's like equal? When
Stop.
it's equal?
Breathe.
They all equal, right?
No. What is a hypotenuse?
Like an educated.
A hypotenuse is the angle, the side across from a right angle. This deals with right triangle only. Right triangles only. Right triangles only. Does everyone understand?
Well, nobody else was answering. I was looking at it like,
I appreciate that.
What did you say again?
Nobody's on your back.
Take a point off from both of your tables. A point off from Ravenclaw, a point off from Durmstrang. Do we need to take two off, or y'all want to keep talking? Alright, so they have the hypotenuse and the leg of a right triangle are congruent to the hypotenuse and leg of a second right triangle. Then the triangles are congruent. Now, hypotenuse leg is only applicable to right triangles. And if you don't know what the hypotenuse is, draw an arrow from the right triangle and it's the side opposite. Draw an arrow from the right angle and it's the side opposite every time. So is AC congruent to DF?
Yes.
And that's the hypotenuse. Is AB congruent to DE?
Yes.
And that's the leg. So these triangles, ABC, is congruent to triangle DF by hypotenuse leg. Does everyone understand? Now, this is only applicable in right triangles. Everything else you can use in any other triangle. Do you understand? You can also use all of the other things on right triangles, but this is specific to right triangles, so you just need a hypotenuse and a leg. Now, false shortcuts means things we can't use. What have I told you that you can't use? Angle side side. Don't be an angle side side. So you can't use
Angle side side.
and what else can't you use?
That's it.
So what would that be?
Side, side.
Side side angle. Good. Take a point.
Yeah, we got it.
So you can't spell cuss words forwards or backwards. Does everyone understand? Would it make you feel better if we wrote it in the circle?
No. Quite off.
Because we're 5. I will let us do it. Put the dashes in between it. So, don't be an angle side side, don't be a side side angle. You can't use those ever. Bless you. In the top drawer of your tower is your next little handout, and it's a review of these. Now, there's one that's turned sideways. Don't get that one. Don't get the one turned sideways. It's the one that has 4 on each thing. Can you hold it up?
Oh.
Can you take them apart and hold it up, or are you just trying to kill me? Okay. Can y'all hand me your papers? Alright, so what I'm talking about, these, do not get these yet. Do not get these yet. What I want you to do is I want you to cut one of these out for each person, and then we're going to talk about them, okay? Cut one of these out for each person. We're going to glue it on 27B. Thank you. Yes. Are you sure?
Do you need an extra one?
You don't need 3 more because each person gets 1.
Do you need an extra?
I do. Will you cut me one, please?
I'm not bad at that.
Okay. Thank you. I will get one from someone else. It's fine. Wait, we're in the middle of the lesson.
Guys, get it.
It's fine. No, they're all the same. Alright, so each person is going to end up with a little one like this. I want you to cut out the square, and you're going to glue it on the top of page 27B. On the top, because you're going to need the bottom. Does everybody understand?
I know this.
Alright guys, so this is 27A. I want you to turn it over, and on the back, in the top left-hand corner, you're going to glue this down. It's going to be right underneath 27B. There's no tape because we're out of supplies. You're going to have to use glue or bring tape, one or the other. 15 seconds. 10 seconds.
5, 2, 1.
Five, four, three, two. We're moving on. Now, no, 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 no. Do you need to go sit outside in the hallway? Like a 4-year-old? Or do you want me to text mom? Okay, we can do either of those. Alright, so this says triangle congruence, postulates, and theorems. So this is what we just talked about as an example. You are going to use this to help you make a chart. Your chart is going to be below this. You are going to, right here, you're going to write postulate. Then you're going to draw a line. Then you're going to write example triangles. And then you're going to draw another line. And then you're going to write explain. So what you are going to do is you are going to come up with an example for each of the postulates. It cannot be the one up here. And it cannot be the one in the other foldable. So you have to come up with one for each of the postulates and explain why it satisfies that postulate. Does everybody understand? Now, how many postulates do we have? 5. So we're going to have side, side, side. And then what's the next one? Side, angle, side. And then angle, side, angle. Angle, angle, side, and hypotenuse, leg. Now, which one of these deals with right triangles?
HL.
Hypotenuse, leg, HL. So what do you have to draw for your example triangle? A right triangle. Does everybody understand? So you must draw example triangles and explain why it satisfies that postulate. That's what you're working on now. If you can get it done, you have no homework, and I can grade it before you leave.